Next we're going to use the band to open up kind of our anterior shoulder, pec minor, everything running through here. So suspend a band from elevated height, wrapping the wrist around. I'm going to drop to one knee. If I'm opening up my left side, my left knee is going to be down. You can use an Airex pad to protect your knee. I'm going to rotate my thumb back, and then all I'm doing here, pull my shoulder down. I'm shifting my weight forward through my toe here. And then if I look to my right, it's going to lengthen this tissue as well. But this is going to be opening up kind of bicep, elbow joint, all the way down, front of shoulder and chest. So this is either A, a really good opener before we have a pressing workout, or B, this is a good way to restore our length tension relationships after a workout and our cool down. Next, we're going to use a band for getting better range of motion with overhead external rotation. So wrapping our wrist around the band. Again, you can always change the resistance of the band to be appropriate. So if I'm working on right shoulder, I'm stepping out with left foot. What I'm doing now, I'm finding my comfortable range of motion. I'm turning my thumb out to my right side. This is just biasing this stretch here. So once I've found that position, I'm going to hang out for about 10 seconds. Then I'm going to contract, kind of drive my force forward while the band's holding me in position as hard as I can for 6 seconds. Take a deep breath in, and then I'm going to go back further in range of motion. So we're getting a PNF stretch out of this. Again, push 6 seconds, relax, deep breath in, and this is going to open up overhead external rotation in our shoulder. This next mobilization is going to be using a band to work on shoulder extension and internal rotation. So this one's a really good way to open up for bench press or any kind of pressing, overhead pressing mechanics. So what I'm doing, slipping the band around my elbow joint. I take a step out. If I'm on my right arm, my left foot's going to be forward. Now I'm extending my shoulder, internally rotating, trying really hard to keep that shoulder back in the socket. And then I'm just going to focus on deep breathing, and the band is really going to help me stretch in this position just to be able to open up that shoulder a little bit better. All right, this next mobilization is going to be really good for cleaning up shoulder mechanics with overhead pressing. So whenever we're pressing overhead, I want you to think that we're holding a tray. So that way we're getting into shoulder flexion, external rotation, big press overhead. So in order to reclaim position or open up before a workout, what we're going to do is use a band here. We're going to walk out some tension. We're going to go ahead and put ourselves in that tray position. So keeping core nice and tight, we're not going to extend our back here. First, what we're going to do is we're going to contract as hard as we can. So we're pushing resistance into the band forward for 6 seconds. And then taking a deep breath. And then getting back further in that range of motion. I'm going to go through that a few times just to really open up shoulder down through lat for our overhead pressing mechanics. All right, next we are working on shoulder extension. So this is called a sync mobilization. I'm going to show you a couple ways to do that. We could, of course, just use a barbell and how it's racked in position. But if we want to use a resistance band, we can always change the height. And then we're just really coming out into that shoulder extension position. Deep breath in, keeping the core tight. Lean forward, keeping a straight back. This is really going to stretch out the front of our shoulders. You're going to feel it also through your scaps in the back. This is a good way to spend some time here just to reclaim some position. Also, we could use something similar and like a TRX. Get the same benefit, just showing you that you can be creative with what you're using just to get the same kind of stretch. This is a good way to reclaim position after a workout. All right, this is going to be a really good series for warming up before going on a run. It also translates well to just getting your whole body warmed up with a dynamic warm-up before a workout. So I'm going to take you through each exercise one at a time. but this is going to be comprehensive, so this will be everything you need to do in your walk. First one, we're working on hamstrings. So this is going to be a toe up, push hip back, just 1 second, and you're alternating. It's going to be important that you're really pushing hip back versus flexing forward. But as trunk gets lower, you're going to get a bigger stretch on that hamstring. So this is something that's really good to walk down the length of our turf out in front, or if you're not in our studio, this would be something about 30 seconds to a minute of each exercise. So toe up, hip back. Next thing for that is just biasing more towards calf. So step up, lean forward, pull calf back. This is really going to get calves warmed up. And next, we're going to get into hip flexion position. So you're going to take a step, pull knee to chest, try to keep toe up, alternate. This is really going to get quads stretched out a little bit, hip flexors, glutes. So that's going to help there. Next, kind of getting into the outside of hip. You're going to take a step up, internally rotate. You're grabbing at ankle and also at knee. You're pulling up high for a second across your body. You feel a stretch in the outside of your hip. And then next, we're going to do hamstring swings. So this is another one for the back of our legs here. So we're going to take alternating steps. So if I'm swinging with my left foot, have my right arm out in front of me. So swinging that leg up as high as you can. Just going to stretch out hamstrings. All right. And next, we're doing something called a hamstring catch. So hips are up tall, starting with our leg in this position. You're pulling your leg down as fast as you can, and then catching right before you hit the ground at the bottom. This is going to get the top of our hamstrings warmed up. Really focusing on decelerating, so as fast as I can, then slow. Another really good one to turn on the outside of our hips, glute med muscles. We're going to do banded walking, so I'm going to show you a couple variations of that. You can always change the resistance with your band. Band can go just above ankles or just below knees. So we're focusing on lateral walking here, pushing hips back and down. Knees are slightly going to be flexed. I'm going to keep shoulders back, eyes up and forward. Take a deep breath in. You're going to take a step as far as you can. Make sure your opposite foot doesn't drag, so picking up that foot. You're going to walk down and back. You're going to go on each side. It's going to be important that you're keeping your feet straight. So each side for this one. And then next variation, we have what's called a monster walk. So hips up tall. What you're going to do is you're going to take a step forward, and then out as far as you can. Then a regular step with the opposite side. Then forward, out as far as you can. This one's really good for getting outside of hips activated as well. And then you can pair that just with backwards walking, trying not to drag your feet, picking them up each time. All right, a few more that we got. Also getting the inside of our legs or adductors warmed up. We're going to do what's called an over-under. So I want you to think that you're stepping over a hurdle with this one. So one leg up as high as you can, opposite leg up as high as you can, and do a lateral lunge, kind of like we're going underneath a hurdle, and roll if you can. So over, over, then under, keeping this leg straight and this hip back. Then you bring it back the other way, so over, over, and under. If that's feeling really tough, it'd be fine just to do a lateral lunge or something that's more controlled. Couple more just to kind of get your heart rate up and go over running mechanics. So this one's called an A-step. So it's always important that what we really need to get out of our running mechanics, that we really have to get into good hip flexion, we have to get into good hip extension, we have to have a lot of core strength, and then upper thoracic spine mobility. So if you're stepping with your left side, You should get up as high as you can. You should have your toe pointed. And if I have my left leg up, it's where I'm splitting my arms. My right leg or right hand is up tall. Thinking thumb kind of towards collarbone. So just going over that nice and easy with an A step. Stepping with my left, have my right, so we're just switching. Spend 30 seconds there, we're down and back. Next, we're gonna add a skip to that. So it'd be kind of a skip. So just my feet are sliding a little bit here. So next variation is called a B step. This is really to activate our lower hamstring, get it ready for running our workout. So with that, it's thinking that we're doing the same thing as the A step, but when we're coming into the ground, I want you thinking that you're pulling force into the ground as much as you can. So it's like we're clawing at the ground. So you'll get a little scuff out of that. So B step is up, pull back as much force as you can into the ground. Going down and back, spend about 30 seconds to a minute there. And then the last one is just gonna be B step with a skip. So really integrating everything. That'd be a really good warm-up to do before going on a run or doing a workout.